How did I survive my first negative event without gambling? This is a good question, and I'm gonna give you a story that happened to me in March of 2020. I had just come back from a sober retreat and got word that my biological father, my estranged biological father, had died. And although he had a cousin that was helping the whole process, I was the oldest kid, so I was ultimately in charge, I guess, as far as decision making and responsibility. And I hadn't spoken to him in over 14 years, about at least 14 years, maybe 16. And I had all this responsibility. And I had ended a relationship, a very important relationship, just a couple months earlier. And every day was a struggle, honestly, to not reach out to that person. I was missing them like crazy, but they had hurt me and I had to stand my ground. And it was just really, really tough. This all started about 2.5 years into my recovery. And I remember very clearly finding out when my biological father died. I was at a bar testing my sobriety for the first time because I had just gotten back from that sober trip. And I didn't know if I could still have fun at the bar without drinking with the same people I had had my last drink with. So I was kind of testing myself. I'm not necessarily recommending that for anybody. It just happened to be part of my process. And that is when I got word. And I didn't know what to do per se in that moment. But here's, upon reflection, because that's generally how I work, here's what I discovered. I had been doing daily readings out of a One Day at a Time book. I went to group. I had resources that I talked to, my counselor, my peers. I podcasted about my recovery. So I was recovering every day. And it became part of my daily routine. So when this big, epic, negative event and flood of emotions, confusion, animosity, grief, responsibility, all those things, when they came, I was almost on autopilot as far as my recovery. So this was a Saturday night when I got the word. And Sunday, I called the boss of the counselors. I cried. I podcasted about it. I let it out, is the moral of the story. And I asked for help. So I went on that following Monday. I had a meeting with my counselor, like an emergency meeting. I made sure I went to group. And I worked on my recovery. I didn't drink to numb it. I didn't gamble to numb it. Because that's the other thing too, right? If I couldn't gamble, maybe it'd be real easy to drink and just numb. And numbing is not how to get through it. So my message, my moral of the story on this, excuse me, I'm gonna cough. Pardon me. Where I'm going with this is by doing the next right thing. That's one of the things that they say in the room. Do the next right thing. So by programming myself, I was equipping myself for that first monumental thing that would have been a trigger for me to go back to gambling, or even to go back to drinking in this case. And once I got through that, enter COVID and all the things, right? 2020 got progressively worse with things I had to cope with. But once you get over one hurdle, it starts giving you the strength to go over other hurdles. Or at least that's the way it worked for me. And as I record these, I'm going through another lot of situational things that are out of my power. And it would be so much easier to go to the casino or to drink it away. But I've strengthened and continue to strengthen my recovery. So again, I have resources. I've been on the phone with people every single day, talking through all my feelings. And guys, I did not use the V word, vulnerable, before rehab. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. But I had to be vulnerable. That's what's keeping me from going back to doing the things. That and the gratitude. I think I talked about the gratitude in what do I treasure, or what's important to me. But the gratitude for the things that I've had before, the bad things, or even the bad things that'll strengthen me for the next whatever rough time. And it's all a matter of perspective, right? They're not bad if we learn and grow from them. So that's how I handle not going back to gambling, even when times are tough. It's not about handling when times are tough in that moment. It's about equipping yourself and filling your cup with the resources and the strength you need for when those times come across. And they're gonna come across. I haven't met a person yet that is in some sort of recovery that hasn't struggled. We say in our groups, we're just one bed away. We could give it all back if we're not doing the right things. So, thank you.